If Misty decided to attempt the gym challenge in her home region of Kanto, could she rise from the position of second gym leader all the way to the top and become the champion? That's what I aim to find out by playing Pokemon Fire Red as Misty, but with a twist. Rather than having access to all of Misty's Pokemon and all their moves, I can only use Vaporeon, and my Vaporeon can only use Water Gun, Mist, Haze, and Hydro Pump to reflect the Pokemon in the move pool of Sygna Suit Misty in the game Pokemon Masters EX. The goal of the run is to beat Pokemon Fire Red only using Vaporeon with that specific moveset. Due to the difficulty of the challenge, I'm allowing for myself to overlevel and use items in battle, but that's pretty much only because the challenge would have been completely impossible otherwise, which I know for sure since I originally attempted this challenge on Pokemon Radical Red, where overleveling and item use in battle isn't allowed, and I couldn't even get past Misty ironically enough. Starting the run after becoming Misty, choosing Squirtle so that Blue will have Bulbasaur for an additional challenge, and getting our Vaporeon with his complete and final move list, and yeah, it's a he, which I'm happy about because it might shut down a certain group of degenerates. We smash all the trainers in Viridian Forest just like you should smash that like button, and let me know in the comments down below if you play Pokemon Masters EX, and if so, who's your favorite sync pair in the game? First, we needed to prove that we were worthy of our current position of second gym leader, so that means we need to get to Pewter City and defeat the first gym leader, Brock. Brock has two Pokemon, a Geodude and an Onix, but since both are weak to water-type moves, with Onix being 4 times weak to water since he's rock-ground type, even though they have the numbers advantage, I set up a Mist in case they try to lower my stats, take out Geodude with a single Hydro Pump after missing like 3 times, and take out Onix on my first Hydro Pump despite his 2-level advantage, leveling up Vaporeon to 13 and earning Misty's first gym badge, the Boulder Badge. That was incredibly easy as to be expected, but now I've got to head to Cerulean City and beat myself, but with more Pokemon and fewer restrictions. If that doesn't prove I'm worthy of more than just the second gym, I don't know what will. First though, I've got to get through Mount Moon. After an onslaught of tons of Zubats and fighting my way through, winning fight after fight and growing more and more powerful for the upcoming battle, I made it through Mount Moon and arrived in Cerulean City to face down my imposter. Or maybe my past self? My non-Sygna Suit version? One of those. Anyway, since this Misty's policy is an all-out offensive with water-type Pokemon, this will actually be really easy for the reason that this run failed in Radical Red. Water Absorb. See, in Radical Red, Misty had Pokemon with the ability Water Absorb, which makes it so that when you're hit with a water-type move, instead of taking damage, you're healed. Being that I only have Water Gun and Hydro Pump, 2 water-type moves, as my only offensive moves, the only way I could have damaged those Pokemon is with Struggle after wasting all of my PP, but without access to healing items or being a considerable amount of levels higher for more health points, I wasn't even able to survive until I ran out of PP, let alone beat her with Struggle draining my health every round. That actually works in my favor this time around, as Vaporeon has Water Absorb too, so while Misty can attack me with non-water type moves, it cuts her available attack options down, and this time, none of her Pokemon have Water Absorb, so I have nothing to worry about. Misty, like Brock, only has 2 Pokemon, only one more than me, but unfortunately for this Misty, my Vaporeon had grown considerably stronger after fighting through Mount Moon. Since it's my only Pokemon, while it getting KO'd means that I lose, it's the only recipient of XP, so it grows more powerful at an exceptional rate. My Vaporeon defeats her Staryu after a barrage of water guns and a Hydro Pump to finish it off after it kept using Recover, leveling up from 21 to 22, and, now 1 level higher than the other Misty's Ace, I get taken down to yellow from some Swifts, a crit included, but Vaporeon is incredibly defensively tanky, so I'm able to eat them all and take her Starmie down with some Hydro Pumps. With the Cascade badge acquired, I'm now at least as good as non-Sygna Misty, at best better, and now worthy to move up to the 3rd gym. After that, I very quickly catch some HM Pokemon, Spearow because I thought it could learn Cut, but at least I can use it for Fly later, and Meowth for Cut. I head north towards Bill's house, and now it's time to face off against my rival, Blue, with his brand new team. Blue's got 4 Pokemon, but the only one I'm really concerned with is Bulbasaur. I do my typical start with Mist to avoid any stat decreases, especially from Pidgeotto, who likes to spam Sand Attack, which can make things annoying, and take out Pidgeotto with a couple Water Guns, leveling up to level 23. Next is Bulbasaur, and while he puts me to sleep with Sleep Powder and starts laying into me with Vine Whip, because of my defensive bulk and 5-level advantage, I survive the attacks and take him out with a couple Hydro Pumps and Water Guns. Lastly, I take out his Abra and Rattata with some Water Guns, defeating Blue and getting revenge for his implied victory against Gym Leader Misty. After that, I head up to Bill's house and change him back from a Clefairy, getting the SS Anne ticket from him as a reward. I head south of Cerulean City and get to Vermilion City, where I board the SS Anne and take out everybody aboard until I get to Blue, who wants a rematch as though anything will go any differently. I lead with Vaporeon, imagine that, but my Vaporeon is damaged because I forgot to heal before the fight. Still, I'm at least 10 levels higher than all of his Pokemon, so I set up my Mist, take Pidgeotto out with 2 Water Guns, barely survive a Vine Whip from Ivysaur, and take him out with a Hydro Pump and a crit Water Gun, and take out both Raticate and Kadabra with Hydro Pumps, winning the battle. I help the captain with his seasickness since I'm the resident expert on all things water, and he thanks me by giving me the HM for cut. The next gym leader was my biggest threat because it was Lieutenant Surge with his 3 electric-type Pokemon, specifically 3 Pokemon with type advantage that are potentially faster than me and mainly special attack, bypassing my mainly physical defensive bulk. First up was Voltorb, and while I just stuck with the Mist First playbook, it only hit me with a Sonic Boom, so not much damage. After a Mist Hydro Pump, a Sonic Boom, and a Shockwave, I was already at a third of my maximum health. But I take Voltorb out with a Hydro Pump, and next is Pikachu. Misty definitely feels bad for taking out the signature Pokemon of one of her closest friends, but a single Water Gun does it before he can wipe me out since I'm about 10 levels higher. Finally, it was his ace, Raichu, versus my Vaporeon at Death's Door. I go for a Hail Mary and use Hydro Pump, and it lands, taking Raichu out in one hit. With Lieutenant Surge defeated, Misty gets the Thunder Badge and officially, undisputedly surpasses her prior position as second gym leader. With 2 of the hardest gyms taken care of so easily, it looked like Misty was going to be able to become champion with relative ease, even with 1 Pokemon and with only 4 specific moves the whole time, with only 2 of them even being attacking moves. Then I came across my hardest actual battle yet, Gamer Hugo, an old man trainer with a Poliwag with Water Absorb. I had to go through all my power points to beat it with struggle, and then struggle through the rest of his team. Afterward, I cleared out the rest of Route 11 and the Trainers East of Cerulean City, and after arriving at my next stop, Rock Tunnel, I blindly stumbled my way through until I arrived at the other side, finally reaching Lavender Town. I don't know why, but this town's theme is making me want to go watch Furrun Beyond Journey's End. I decided to clear out the tower while I was here so that I could go straight up after getting the Sylph Scope to get the Pokeflute for Snorlax, and definitely didn't just forget that you needed the Sylph Scope to defeat the Marowak at the top floor, but first, I have my next rival encounter with Blue. I lead with Mist, which actually blocks his Pidgeotto's Sand Attack attempt. Nice. And since I almost double his whole team's level, I beat Pidgeotto with 2 Water Guns, beat his Ivysaur with 2 Water Guns and a Hydro Pump after being put to sleep and attacked, take his Gyarados out with 2 Hydro Pumps after a couple misses, bringing me down to red in the process. And to clutch up the fight, I took down Growlithe and Kadabra with a Water Gun each, beating Blue with only 20 health points remaining. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm not using items in battle even though they're technically allowed, I'm really only allowing them in the case of a battle with a trainer that has a Water Absorb Mon, and a few exceptions later that we'll get to. For now, I go ahead and clear out Route 12 for later, and then battle my way through Route 8 to get to Celadon City. Next up was Erica, the Grass-type gym leader and the last of the triple threat gym leaders. Misty, because she's literally me, and I have Water Absorb Trauma from Radical Red, and Lieutenant Surge and Erica because they have type advantage. Erica has 3 Grass-type Pokemon, each around level 30, but luckily because Vaporeon is soaking up all the XP from every battle, he's nearly level 50, so I'm not too concerned. She starts with a Victory Bell, but I set up with a Mist just in case and eat a Giga Drain like it's nothing. After that, a single Hydro Pump takes out Victory Bell, and it's on to Tangela, who gets one-shot by a Hydro Pump shortly thereafter. Lastly, a Vileplume, a Stage 3 evolution Grass-type. I go for the Hydro Pump one-shot, but it misses, and I get Stun Spored as punishment. A Giga Drain doesn't quite put me into yellow, and I'm able to land a Hydro Pump, but it does in one shot. Erica uses a Hyper Potion to fully restore Vileplume, and I miss my last Hydro Pump, so things are starting to look dicey. In a battle of attrition with my Water Gun against Erica's Giga Drain, I fully expected to lose here and have to try again, but as luck would have it, I landed a massive crit here that knocked Vileplume down to red, and she only used Acid in return, so I easily tanked it, and with both of us at red, I outsped despite the paralysis and landed that last Water Gun for the win, defeating Erica and claiming the Rainbow Badge. We're moving on up in the world, guys. Now it's time to take on Team Rocket. I beat all the grunts throughout their hidden base easily, and then it was time to take on the man, the myth, the legend himself, Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket. Fortunately, Giovanni only had 3 Pokemon around level 25, and with a proclivity to ground types, I'm able to clean up his team of Onix, Rhyhorn, and Kangaskhan with 3 Hydro Pumps. Wait, actually no, I mean 4. With the Sylph Scope in hand, I take out the evil grunts holding Mr. Fuji hostage, and he gives me the Poke Flute. So I go and defeat Snorlax on Route 12, and continue my journey through Route 13 to Fuchsia City, where I take on Koga, the Poison-type gym leader. He's got 4 Pokemon on his team, so more than we're typically used to, but Misty's Vaporeon is level 60 at this point, and his Pokemon are around level 40-ish, so this shouldn't be too hard. He starts off with his Coughing, but a Mist and a Water Gun takes it out easily. Next is Muck, a second stage evolution known for being tanky, so I try to Water Gun to test the waters, pun intended, and while I don't one-shot, I get close with a crit. He raises his stats with Acid Armor, but while I could reset him with Haze, I opt to just finish him off with Water Gun. Another Coughing gets needlessly obliterated with an overkill Hydro Pump, and the nearly level 45 Wheezing, Koga's ace, gets one-shot by a critical hit Hydro Pump before he has a chance to wreck house and unleash a torrent of poison or any other status ailment to level the playing field, earning Misty her next badge, the Soul Badge. Afterwards, I grab Surf in the Safari Zone, teach it to my Squirtle, sail through the ocean and beat everybody between Fuchsia City and Seafoam Island, give up on Seafoam Island because I don't have strength, and opt to just fly to Palatown with my Spearow and just surf south to Cinnabar, beating everybody in the way in the process. After I make my way through Mew Mansion, no, not that Mew, this Mew, I get the key to Blaine's gym, and basically wipe the floor with his entire team even though he's got 4 level 40s. Growlithe gets the Intimidation off immediately, lowering my physical attack by 1 stage, and while I don't have any physical attacks, I definitely have the leeway to Mist and Haze here just because I can. After bullying Blaine's Growlithe by devouring his takedowns, I one-shot Water Gun it, OHKO both Ponyta and Rapidash the same way, and take out Blaine's ace, a level 47 Arcanine, after a battle of Water Gun versus Hyper Potions. Spoiler alert, he ran out of health points before I ran out of power points. With Misty having obtained the Volcano badge, she's obtained the 7th badge, and only her 6th and 8th badges are left to get. After being whisked off to Islands 1, 2, and 3 by Bill and dealing with all that unfortunate mess, I got back to Kanto and got some tea for the guard guarding Saffron City. He let us through and we immediately take out the fake gym just for more levels because Misty's becoming a power-hungry Sygna Suit monster, and I decided to take on Team Rocket because it's nearly been 45 minutes since they were last defeated by a child, and we can't have that. I fought through what felt like the entirety of Team Rocket, and after beating their endless army of stooges, it was time for my next rival battle against Blue, who's powered up his team since our last battle, but not to any concerning degree. Blue's now got a nearly full team of 5, and their levels are around 40, but at this point Vaporeon is level 75, so I missed to avoid any potential sand attacks from Blue's newly evolved Pidgeot, take it out with 2 Water Guns, getting his now fully evolved Venusaur to half health with 2 Water Guns before getting put to sleep and receiving a decent beatdown until I take him out with a Hydro Pump, one-shot his Gyarados with a Hydro Pump, take out his Growlithe with a Hydro Pump just for BM, and finish off his Alakazam with 2 Water Guns after missing my remaining Hydro Pumps for Karma. A respectable team and effort, and while it may not have been too difficult this time, future fights may take some doing. I heal up, and then take on Giovanni once more. This is the second time we're battling in about an hour. Sure hope he isn't getting sick of seeing me. With only 4 Mons at around level 40, he fares much worse than Blue, getting his whole team Hydro Pump sweeped without a single miss. How embarrassing. With Team Rocket cleared out, we can go back for our 6th gym badge and battle against Sabrina, and with my 1 Vaporeon having to battle against her team of 4, but my level 80 taking on her measly level 40s, this was going to be a cakewalk. I nisted, her Kadabra Calm Mind, and Hydro Pump sweep. GG no re. With the Marsh badge secured, I headed back to Viridian City to defeat the last gym leader and finally break free of my status as gym leader to become a champion contender. The final gym leader is, oh hey buddy, nice to see you again. Yeah, this is gonna be easy. My last easy major fight of the run as it happens, but we'll get to that later. For now, he's rocking a team of 5 level 40s to 50s, but being that he's a ground type gym leader, yeah. Water Gun sweep for the extra disrespect. With the Earth badge secured, my collection of all 8 gym badges is complete, and I gain access to Victory Road, but first, my last battle with Blue as his rival, and it was a tough one. He sends out Pidgeot as per usual, and I lead with Mist, and two-shot Pidgeot with Water Gun, but his Venusaur has become a monster. I Water Gun, and it starts to go for growth. I Haze to reset him, but a Razor Leaf still brings me to half health despite a 30 level advantage. Hydro Pump misses, and he synthesises for a full heal. Another Hydro Pump miss, he growths. Finally, I hit with a Hydro Pump, and he nearly obliterates me with Razor Leaf. I tried to see if I could just take him out from here, but he lives on a pixel and takes me out. Next attempt, I missed and crit one-shot Pidgeot with Water Gun, good start. And for Venusaur, I Hydro Pump to about half health, he growths for a special attack boost, I reset with Haze, he synthesises for full health, and we're back at square one. We then do that exact same thing again, and after that I miss with a Hydro Pump and get Razor Leafed. Another Hydro Pump growth Haze synthesis later, and I use my last Hydro Pump, but only get Razor Leafed. No growth. Now, even though I'm out of Hydro Pumps, I can Water Gun him, but unfortunately he repeatedly heals and attacks me with Razor Leaf until I lose again. After another failed attempt, I instead try to whittle down his health with Water Gun first to a level where he wouldn't use Synthesis to heal, reset his growths with Haze, and nearly took him out with Hydro Pump. After that, I risked missing with Hydro Pump to make sure I took him out before he got a chance to use Synthesis, hit, and defeated Venusaur. The rest of his team was easy enough, just some Water Guns and Hydro Pumps. Even got a Water Absorb proc from Gyarados. Man, Haze has been pretty useless up to this point, with Water Gun being my high power point move, Hydro Pump being my power move, and Mist being my leading move in most battles to prevent my stats from getting lowered. But without Haze, I know I just would have gotten set up on by Venusaur in one shot. The move literally went from being useless to MVP overnight. After that, each of my badges were verified, and I went back to Fuchsia to nab Strength and drop it on Squirtle so that I could complete Victory Road, and after doing so, I finally made it to the Indigo Plateau, where I would finally get my chance to battle the Elite Four and become the champion of the Kanto region. I knew I was probably going to have some PP issues, being that I had to defeat 20 to 30 Pokemon consecutively, and I only have 30 total power points, so I tried to find a shop that sells ethers or elixirs, only to find out that no shops in Fire Red sell any PowerPoint restoring items. While I was out, I also decided to grab some X defenses and X special defenses to replicate Sygna Suit Misty's Pokemon Masters EX exclusive move, Go With The Flow, that raises her defense and special defense by 2 stages, but they didn't sell X special defenses, only X specials, which would have raised my special attack stat as well, so I abandoned that idea for the time being. Well, I guess I'll just have to try to make Vaporeon work as he is. Surely that shouldn't be too hard, since he is level 83 and they're mostly in their 50s and 60s, right? Well, Lorelei leads with a Dugong, not an issue, just a nice type. I take it out with Hydro Pump after some Water Guns. Next is Cloyster, Easy W with some Water Guns, so Lorelei has to swap out to Lapras and oh dear. Oh dear, that's not good. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the very first member of the Elite Four, an Elite Squadron, the best of the region, that I have to defeat one after another with no chance to heal, has a Pokemon that is completely immune to my only means of attack. So here I am with no way forward, same problem as the Radical Red run, just much further down the line. Is this the end of the run, right before the finish line? Well, if you just look at the timestamp, you can see that that's not the case. So I had 3 options here. First, beat the challenge completely legitimately. I could capture 30 Pokemon, go get the item finder, go to the berry forest on 3 Island, and farm as many Leppa berries as I want to restore however many power points I want to whenever I want. This would allow me to waste all my power points in a fight before taking on the Elite Four, heal without restoring my power points, and just use Struggle to beat the Lorelei fight before restoring all of my power points to defeat the rest of the Elite Four and the champion to become the champion myself, but I'm not gonna do that. It would take way too long, and not only do I not have the time or patience, but I want to get this video to you guys ASAP since you have another one coming pretty soon after, so what are the other options? Well, I can either struggle through the Elite Four, heal spamming my way through, or I can cheat in some elixirs so that you guys don't have to watch a finale that basically amounts to, well, me heal spamming my way through the Elite Four. So what did I do? Well, naturally, I did both. Starting first, the boring but legit way. I had accumulated over 250,000 Pokédollars over the course of this adventure due to not ever buying any items and rarely ever losing, so I spent it all on full restores, getting a total of nearly 90 heals, and I took on Lorelei. After wearing down my PP slowly but surely, I defeated Dugong, Cloyster, Slowbro, and this fella before the mighty Lapras took the stage. It wasn't long, well, actually it was, before I whittled down Lapras and defeated Lorelei, taking nearly 15 minutes in all. She herself wasn't as much challenging as was the most difficult enemy I fought during this section of the run, boredom. Bruno was a joke as you know, even without water-type moves, though it was a shame that his Machamp set up so much with Bulk Up and I couldn't knock him down a peg with Haze. Agatha was definitely the hardest member of the Elite Four to defeat solely due to the increased need to heal from poison, and more wipes due to mindlessly spamming Struggle without watching out for said poison and whatnot, but after almost deciding to just farm for the Lepa Berries, only abandoning that idea in the face of the prospect of having to now capture 30 Pokemon in addition to the farming once I found out you needed the item finder, I stuck it out. And after like 10 minutes, not including my trip to Berry Forest or my cheating in elixirs for the true finale, I finally defeated Agatha and moved on to Lance, a much easier fight against much cooler Pokemon. It was really straightforward and the whole thing only really took about a minute. Finally, the last challenge, and a fittingly difficult battle for the legitimate run, Champion Blue. This fight was actually quite difficult as, while I no longer had to worry about Venusaur resisting my damage, Pidgeot can now lower my accuracy with Sand Attack, and Venusaur can now set up with Growth and Sunny Day, and one-shot me with Solar Beam. Being that I could only metaphorically and literally struggle, I wasn't sure what to do here or even if there was anything that I could do. That fear was starting to return. The fear of not being able to complete the challenge, and with only one fight left. I tried to use an X accuracy and X attack I had acquired at some point in the run to maybe help, but it seemed hopeless. Even when I could get Venusaur to red health with Hikari gets a jackpot on cooldown mode luck, he would eventually use his fourth and final move, Synthesis, to heal and seal my fate. I had lost so many times that I had started to feel the odds stacking against me, that there was no hope. Until I started the fight with an X attack for the struggle damage boost, beat Pidgeot with green health and without getting sand attacked by one-shotting him with a critical hit after he full restored, and while Venusaur attempted to stack growths and heal from my struggles with Synthesis, I beat him with another critical hit. I had done it. I had defeated the stone wall that stood in the way of my victory. Taking down his remaining Alakazam, Rhydon, Gyarados, and Arcanine was just a matter of heal spamming like normal, and with that, I had defeated Champion Blue and become the champion of the Kanto region with but a mere lowly level 85 Vaporeon only using Water Gun, Mist, Haze, and Hydro Pump. Though since struggle and heal spamming carried me through the whole final section, let's see what things would have been like if I had access to my moves. Lorelei of course went largely the same, so let's pick back up with Bruno, who is of course a joke as you know. I restore all my power points and begin the battle against Bruno. He's got 5 rock types, so this is a joke. I Water Gun spam through Onix and Hitmonchan, and Hydro Pump one-shot Hitmonlee, Machamp, and his other Onix. Next was Agatha, who was considerably easier than last time. Just like last time, she starts off with her Gengar, but after I missed to protect my stats, and Haze to get rid of her double team boost, I slam her Gengar with a Hydro Pump. Next is Golbat, which instantly goes the way of Gengar before it, and Arbok follows soon after. I take out her second Gengar with another Hydro Pump, and, down to her last Pokemon, a Haunter, I defeat it using my last Hydro Pump. Sorry Agatha, such is the way of the world. Out with the old and in with the new. Speaking of old, now we've got to face the old champion, Lance. And let me tell you, his Dragonairs and Dragonite were no slouches. His leading Gyarados was easy enough since it probably didn't have any non-water type attacking moves as it just spammed 40 damage Dragon Rage. But 2 Hydro Pumps put it away before I got to yellow health. Dragonair paralyzed me with a Thunder Wave and barely avoided being KO'd with a full restore, but a couple rounds later, and a Water Gun and a Hydro Pump took him out. I got paralyzed on my first turn against the next Dragonair and got outraged, but a Water Gun and a Hydro Pump took it out while it was confused. Only about a third of my health remaining, and against the level 60 Dragonite with no Hydro Pumps left, I decided to use my first ever item in battle, not counting the struggle bus I just got off of, and tried to beat him with Water Gun spam. After about a minute of back and forth, with a couple full restores between the two of us, Dragonite caught an unlucky streak and hit himself in confusion after an outrage, so he decided to go for broke with a Hyper Beam, failing to take me out, so I used the opportunity to push the offensive and take him out with a Water Gun. Finally, 2 more Water Guns took out Aerodactyl, and the fight was done. Now there was only one left, the man himself, none other than Champion Blue. A battle that was sure to be just as hard with usable attacks as it was without. Let's see if Misty can defeat him and go from second gym leader to champion with just one Pokemon. First, I set up a mist that negates a sand attack attempt from Pidgeot. Then I follow with a triple water gun after tanking some aerial aces. Blue uses a full restore, and I use water gun repeatedly until I take down Blue's first Pokemon. Now comes the biggest challenge. Blue's starter Pokemon and his only Pokemon that has type advantage against us, his Venusaur. I try to start with a Hydro Pump, but miss, allowing for him to set up a Sunny Day for free. The next Hydro Pump hits, but is met with a Growth. I've seen this combo all too many times before to not avoid it, so I haze to reset him, he growths, and we repeat this back and forth until I run out of PP for haze, so for 30 turns. Now, before you go thinking that it was just a pointless waste of 30 turns, I have to mention that, during this time, whenever Sunny Day wore off, he'd put it up again. That meant that I got to sneak in some Hydro Pumps, but nothing that he didn't then heal with Synthesis, so why wasn't it a waste? Well, from constantly resetting up Sunny Day, where I ran out of PP for Haze, he ran out of PP for Sunny Day. So no more Solar Beams in one turn, and no more Solar Beam Sunny Day damage boost. I then took out his Citrus Berry, but in return he then took out me. For my next attempt, Blue opted to hard swap Venusaur in before I could take out Pidgeot, but that meant a free water gun on him. But that single mistake cost him the title of champion, as I then Hydro Pumped him down to KO range, and since he had barely taken any damage at the start of the turn, he simply went for Growth. Unfortunately, his Citrus Berry brought him back out, so, knowing that I'd outspeed him and that he had a Growth up and would likely heal, I hazed to reset him, double Hydro Pumped him, letting him get Growth and Sunny Day up, and outsped him with a third Hydro Pump, taking him out before he could heal or one-shot me. Pidgeot came back, so I immediately remisted and proceeded to Water Gun him until he was done. With one Hydro Pump left, I decided that I should use Water Gun here until I needed Hydro Pump or could afford to use it. Alakazam got me jumpy with a Psychic, so I full restored, he recovered, and I decided to just use the Hydro Pump and consign myself to the Water Gun meta. Next was Rhydon, more like Rhygon. Gyarados could only spam Dragon Rage like normal, and Thrash, confusing itself, so that wasn't a long fight. And finally, his last Pokemon, a level 61 Arcanine, was reduced to sopping wet cinders by 2 water guns from my level 85 sync partner, my Vaporeon. Misty had risen through the ranks and become the champion of the Kanto region with just her Vaporeon. For more Pokemon Challenge runs like this, be sure to check out the Pokemon playlist and stay tuned for the upcoming Pokemon Challenge run where Erica tries a similar challenge as her fellow gym leader Misty. Remember to like and subscribe for more, comment if you play Pokemon Masters EX, let me know what sync pair is your favorite if you do, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!